I had to change my opinion of who God the Father was. My earthly father had abandoned me, and when I saw Father in the Bible, it was a negative connotation to me. My mother told me that my grandmother, her mother, prayed for me when I was born. I was born out of wedlock, and she said, "I'm praying that he'll be used mightily by God." It took me about 27 years to find him. I called the operator. I said, "Look, my father needs to know, needs to get in touch with me." I said, "Now, his number is private, but I know you guys know it." And I said, "If you would, do me a favor." I said, it's very important that he contacts me. And I said, "Would you call him and give him my number?" And they did. And they gave him my number. He called me up, and I said, he said, "This is Garfield. I'm looking for Bernard." And I said, "This is he." And he said, "Well, you called me." And I said, "Yeah, are you my father?" And he says, "Who's your mother?" I said, "Margaret Catherine." He said, "Yes, I am." I found out later that her best friend was also impregnated by him. I came in January and Gary came in February, about a month apart. So, so he was probably a rolling stone, not only with my mom and her best friend, but it was funny. But we did meet. I was on top of the world, I thought, working with Sony Epic Records in the A&R department. But we met, and I tried to keep up with him. When I moved to New York, I wanted to go out with him, and so I didn't have a car. Because I was VP, I had a car service, and so I called the car up and I said, "Hey, look, I just need a sedan," and so I got a sedan, and I took them out for dinner, and I don't know if it intimidated them. We never did get close. I had to change my opinion of who God the Father was, because my earthly father had abandoned me. And when I saw Father in the Bible, it was a negative connotation to me. And I said, "God, if you're really my father," I said, "I'm out of a job," because I didn't renew my contract at CBS after a couple of years. And so I said, "God, if you're really my father, my earthly father abandoned me. Here I am in New York City, and I'm in need." And wouldn't you know, a friend would call me about a few days later and said, "Look, I was on a golf course," and he called me from California. He said, "And God put your name on my heart." And he said, "Do you need anything?" And when he said that, it was kind of like God saying, "I am not like your earthly father. I am different. I'm unique." When my mom told me about her mom praying for me, I thought about, wow. She became a member of our church, and I became her pastor. She talked about how proud she was of me being her pastor. And one Father's Day, I was going to preach a message on fathers, and God was convicting me, saying, "You haven't even really forgiven your father of the stuff that you're really still holding on to." And so I called him up, and I forgave him. And he said, "Oh, why don't you come down? Why don't you come and visit me?" I was pastoring, and it was really not an opportune time for me to go down. But he finally did pass away, and her father, I told him, I said, "I don't want to go to his funeral." And he said, "You need to go. You need to go to the funeral." He said, "You need to close this chapter of your life." He said, "If you don't go, you're going to regret it." And so I did go to his funeral, but I didn't have any emotions whatsoever, about it towards him. I saw him lying there in a casket. I hadn't met him, but and I think about that passage. What manner of love is this, that we should be called children of God? If you don't know that love, man, you're missing out on the most unique love of all, and that's the love of God.